Hello stamping friends, it's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and as always, I would love to be your demonstrator if you do not already have one. So this week for the live class, thank you so much for joining me, by the way, but this week we have a really special presentation because we are introducing our third Countdown to Christmas Holiday Card Class Series class. So this one is going to feature the Merriest Moments stamp set and bundle, and it's really kind of a unique little stamp set and bundle because it has a combo embossing folder and die set. It's a hybrid embossing folder, and I'll tell you all about that. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. I know you will. And I also wanted to point out that for the third class, I was supposed to do the Whimsy and Wonder suite. That's what I had advertised. However, we have some back orders from that suite happening right now, and those products are going to be in a couple of weeks. So I thought I just wanted to hold off on that. That way we can have a 5-card class, and then if you wanted to order any of the products, you can still do that. I hate when something's on back order and you can't order it. So I'm just flipping the last two classes. We're doing the Merriest Moments first, and then we'll do Whimsy and Wonder for the final countdown to Christmas class. Okay, I think that's about it. Welcome to October. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're here already. I hope you've enjoyed celebration. It's all over with now, but we have lots of fun things coming up, and certainly October is kind of the official kickoff to the holiday card making time. So this is the time. If you haven't already started, now is the time to start ordering your stuff for your holiday crafts and getting that underway. This is going to be a great addition to your collection. I know that it will. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around and we will start showing you some of the products. Okay, let me get some of my stuff out of the way here. Turn on our light. There we go. All right, Merriest Moments. This is a stamp set and bundle. As I said, it's kind of special and a little bit different than you may have seen before. There's one, I can't remember the name of it. There's a hybrid bundle in the annual catalog that you might have seen, but it's really easy to miss. But this is kind of a fun little combination of products. So it all starts with the Merriest Moments stamp set. So pretty and perfect and traditional for this time of year. Some beautiful poinsettias, some lovely foliage, and really nice and pretty sentiments to go with it. Then we also have the Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder, and when it's called hybrid, there's something really special about it. It means that it comes not only with a folder, which is really pretty. You can see here that it's kind of a frame so that you can put a focal point right in the center, but it also comes with dies all together in the same package, and they work together, and I'll show you how that's done in a minute. So you can find all this information out in your mini catalog, your July to December mini catalog. It's on page 43. You have the stamp set here, and then the Merriest Moments bundle. It's just $54, and you get the stamp set and the embossing folder and the dies. And look how many dies you get. All kinds of dies, outlines to cut out all of the different images, plus a big outline to cut out your embossed texture, plus a detailed image to cut out that embossed texture, and also some other little accent pieces. Lots and lots of stuff in this awesome bundle. So if you want to, you can just buy the hybrid embossing folder separately. And again, when I say hybrid embossing folder, it means the embossing folder plus dies. So you can get all of those for $39 by themselves, or you can have the stamp set all together for just $54. You'll get a 10% discount when you purchase that bundle. So there's lots of fun things to do with this because it's so versatile. So I'm going to get started with our cards today. And let me just, excuse me, let me just mention, we have 2 different class kit options because this is a countdown to Christmas class. So I'm going to be demonstrating several cards today. We're going to have a 5-card class kit that you can earn for free with your $35 minimum purchase at my store. You just go to 2coolstamping.com, click on the Shop Now link, and place your order there. Don't forget to use that host code. That's really important so that I know which kit that you're interested in. NK76QGPQ is the host code for this week, and that will get you the Merriest Moments 5-card class kit. Now you can also choose to register for the full Countdown to Christmas class. That's going to be 12 cards, and it's going to be for each of 3 of the different cards that I am demonstrating today. And you're going to get the stamp set as well, and some bonus products in that as well. So envelopes and a tutorial. It'll be the whole kit and caboodle all together, and that is the full class. And you can get all of the details on my website later today at 2coolstamping.com. So, and as I go through, I'll show you which cards go in what kits. So hopefully it won't be too confusing, but lots and lots of fun things that we're going to be playing with. Okay, we're going to start out with some simple stamping. So even though I'm talking about the hybrid folder, we're going to forget that for just 1 minute because we're going to see just how much fun we can have just with the stamp set. I'm going to start off with a soft seafoam card base. This is just the traditional 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Now because this is a photopolymer stamp set, that means you can see through the stamps, and because of the way that they're made, I like to have a piercing mat underneath. That's going to help to have a little bit of cushion underneath so that the ink will transfer perfectly onto the cardstock. All right, we're going to start out by stamping a background. And I forgot to bring a little piece of scrap paper over, so I'm going to use this as my scrap. I'll put my mat underneath there because I'm going to stamp off of that just a little bit. And I'm going to start with soft seafoam. And I'm going to start with one of the leaf images. And I'm just going to stamp randomly all over the background. And you notice I'm going at a diagonal. You want to start kind of in the center and work your way out so that you don't have any gaps or spaces. See how it's really easy to add things in when you just start at the middle and then just work your way out. So there is the background. Isn't that pretty? You can make that with there's so many different leaf images here. You can make that with a lot of different leaves in there as well. So this is a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of basic white that we were stamping on. We're going to add that to a mat, and the mat is mint macaron, and it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Next, we're going to add some soft succulent open weave ribbon. So all these pretty greens together, I love that. And I'm just going to tie that in a double knot to make it easy. Trim off the ends. Bring our card base back, and we're going to add that to our card base. So we'll add the seal. And we'll put that on our card base. All right, there is our background. I'm going to bring my pad back out here so I can tell where I'm stamping on it. Next, I have one of the die cuts from your set, just right here. And it's just a pretty stitched rectangle. That makes for a really nice focal point. I'm going to stamp that with a sentiment in real red. Actually, I think I'm going to do it on the horizontal here. I just love the font on that, on these sentiments. So pretty. All right, next we're going to just pop that up with some dimensionals. So we'll add a few of those. And we'll put that right up at the top here. And I probably should have just moved this ribbon over just a tiny bit so that I didn't have the dimension. I don't like to put the dimensionals over the top of the ribbon. It just kind of makes it a little bit bulky. So preferably I would have had that ribbon over just a little bit. No big deal. I have a piece of scrap paper here, and we're going to stamp some leaves, some holly leaves. Here we go. In soft succulent to match that ribbon. Also, if it's a holly leaf, we're going to need some berries to go with it. Whoops, that didn't work. There we go. So there is, and I actually used the wrong, I used cherry cobbler instead. I wanted to use real red for that. Anyway, we're going to stamp those onto some scrap paper. Then we're going to use the dies that coordinate. We have the small holly leaf, and then we also have a little die right here for the berry. So it's all easy to cut out when you have the dies. I highly encourage you to get those. It's going to make your life so much easier, especially for this class. So for this one, we have all three of these really pretty holly leaves. We're going to add some of these to the top here for a little accent. Oops. And one final one. And then I'm just going to get my glue dots for the berries. Put a couple of those on there. And put that right over the top. And we'll finish up with a few gems, some red rhinestones. And I'm just going to add them right under here, just another little pop of color to match those berries. All right, so there's our first card. Wasn't that simple and so pretty? This is going to be one of the 3 different designs from the Countdown to Christmas class. So here's another way that you could do that same card just on the horizontal. I used a different sentiment. I used some of the larger holly leaves, just 2 this time, but that gives you kind of a different look. And then I always have a Too Cool version. So this time I started with cherry cobbler. I added some of the different foliage for the background. Did it on a horizontal. This time I added a soft succulent poinsettia, and those 3 gems go in the center of the flower for a little bit something different. These gems I just kind of scattered around. There's lots of different ways. I like to show you different ways that you can put the cards together so you can do the way that you like the most. Here's the last one. So another one of the cherry cobblers, this time in a vertical orientation, and I used the 3 dots here right on the berries just to give them a little bit of sparkle. So this is the first card design for our Countdown to Christmas class. You'll get all the supplies to make all 4 of these cards for that large class with the 12 cards in it. If you're getting the 5 card kit, you're going to get all the supplies to make the card that I demonstrated. All right. Let's go on to the next card. This starts with a crumb cake background card base. And then I have a background that's already cut in it's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And this is called, let's see, I've embossed it already, but I forget the name of the embossing folder. Let me tell you. Merry Melody is the embossing folder. So you have the musical notes all on there. So I can't remember what song. It might be Joy to the World, but I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. So I've already textured that. We're going to put that down as a background. And before we do that, I do this all the time, you guys, where you put the layer down and you forget to put the ribbon down. Don't do it. Almost did it. So before you put that background down, we're going to put some of the cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. Look at this ribbon. This is absolutely awesome. How shiny it is. So beautiful. It's a 1/2 inch wide. Very easy to tie. We're just going to put 1 strip across the bottom of our piece here and just tack it down on the back. So we just have a little bit of color. This was, if you have been looking for this ribbon, it had been on back order. It said it was coming in on October 4th, but I did notice that it seems to be off of the back order report. So I think it's available. So that is a good thing. If it's not, it's going to be available next week. So there's our background. Next we have our focal point layer. This is going to be 2 3/4 by 4. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Let's start with, I'm going to use that same sentiment. I'm going to clean it up a little bit since we're going to do a different color. We'll stamp that in Evening Evergreen. And we'll do that right here, kind of close to the top. Beautiful. Next, we're going to do a couple of Evening Evergreen leaves here. And I'm gonna have a focal point right here, a flower. So I just want these to kind of come out of that area. And then we're gonna fill it in with some soft succulent. And see, I should have kept my copy paper or my background underneath here. I don't want to get too much ink on the piercing mat. I'm going to use some different foliage with this soft succulent and just stamp right over the top. That's okay. All right, so there's some foliage, and then we're going to add one of those pretty poinsettias. So I just have some scrap paper here. We're going to add the large flower in cherry cobbler. So we just stamp that on some scrap. Again, we have a die that's going to cut that right out. So that makes it really easy. You guys, the stamp set's beautiful. It's on its own. Perfectly fine to just get the stamp set, but if you do not get the bundle, you are totally missing out on this particular collection because there are just so many fun things that you can do with it, and it makes it so much easier to die cut all these beautiful pieces so that you can layer and make little bouquets and and beautiful pieces. So here is our background. We're going to pop that up. I put that on a mat that is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And we're just going to kind of tuck that down in the corner there, and we're going to add this pretty flower, with a little bit of seal. Right in the middle of all of that foliage. So pretty. We're going to finish it up with some wonderful gems. I'm going to put one right here in the center. Another one down here. And then maybe a small one up here. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to put it up here a little bit further. There we go. Just to give it a little bit more sparkle at the top. So this is our second card. Isn't that so pretty? Traditional colors, easy stamping, really, really lovely. So this is one of the cards that you'll get in the 5-card class kit. I did a similar version in pretty much everything's the same. I just used one of the different sentiments for that. And then I also made a couple with a white background. I used the timber texture. I don't know if you can see that. It's a really pretty wood grain texture for the background. I wrapped that ribbon all the way around the card front and then did everything on a horizontal so I could use this longer sentiment, the season's greetings, and a little bit longer. Had that flower at the top, and then I have another one very similar, but the flower's a little bit closer to the side, and I didn't tie it this time for the bow. So just a couple of different suggestions, different ways that you can do that. So these are the card parts that you're going to get for in your Countdown to Christmas class. You'll have all the products to make these 4 cards for that complete kit. Okay, and then again, this is the one that's going to come in your 5-card kit. All right, 3rd card. This is when we're going to start looking at that hybrid folder. So we're going to start with Evening Evergreen for our card base. I'm going to do a horizontal one this time. So there's 3 ways that you can use this hybrid embossing folder combination. The one is to use just the folder, and that's what we're going to do here on this card. So I just ran a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of soft succulent through the folder, just like you would any other folder. This is a 3D folder, so you're going to want to use that specialty plate. So you'll use the plate 1, and then the folder with the cardstock, and then the gray specialty plate, or if you have an old blue plate, that also works the same. So that is how you're going to get this texture. So this is the first way that we can use that hybrid folder. We're going to add that to our card front. Let's go like this. And then we're going to decorate. Lots of fun ways to decorate when you have all of these pretty images. So we're going to start with our poinsettias again. This time in real red, and this is just a scrap paper. The small poinsettia. Then let's add some foliage. We're going to have some leaves here. We're going to need 2 of those. And then we're going to need our, let's see, this is our medium-size holly leaf. also in Evening Evergreen. We're going to need 2 of those. And then we're going to finish, let's see, we have a little image here with dots that we're going to use inside of our poinsettia flower. So those are all the parts and pieces that we're going to need. Again, you're going to need to fussy cut all of that out unless you have these handy dies. You're going to have the poinsettia flowers, you're going to have a die for these leaves, you're going to have a die for the medium holly leaf, and then even that small centerpiece for the bloom has a die as well. All of it can be die cut, which I've already done here just to save some time. Hopefully I have all the little pieces. So before we put those together, we're going to need our sentiment piece. So I cut out, you can use that die cut if you want to, but I would just wanted to show you that you can just die, or you can just cut out a piece of basic white. This is 2 3/4 by 2 inch. And I am going to stamp that in Evening Evergreen. And I just had my sentiment here. Here we go. Together is the merriest place to be. So you can just adhere this directly to the frame. If you wanted to pop it up, you could do that as well. I'm just going to put it right on here with some seal. And then let's start decorating. On the top, I'm going to add these pretty leaves, and the larger flower is going to be popped up. Whoops, with a couple of dimensionals here. Like so. And we'll add that middle piece, the dots, with a glue dot. It's just the perfect size, just to give it a little bit of detail. Isn't that pretty? And then we'll do the same thing at the bottom, only with the holly leaves. So we'll add one there. We're going to add another one here. Whoops, I have it. Let's go this way. Looks a little better. We're going to pop that up with a dimensional. And then once again add the dots. So they come together so quickly. The hardest part is going to be either cutting them out by hand or just doing the die cutting. But the die cutting is going to make it so much easier. So there is our card. Isn't that pretty? The layers, pretty accents. And you could really, I mean, this is kind of a simple accent on either side. Let me show you. Oh, and I wanted to show you this one. My one that I did as a sample, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually used some Wink of Stella on the embossing folder part. So you might be able to see some shimmer there, but that's kind of fun. So the other version I had, similar, just I had used a different sentiment. I used some different greenery at the bottom here, but that's very, very similar and just in a vertical orientation. And then my other Too Cool version is in cherry, or real red for the background. Then I used white. I love the white. It's like winter white, and it's so pretty. I stamped directly on it since it was white. And you can see I added some extra greenery around each one. You can layer and layer as much as you want, just to give you some different ideas. And then here is a vertical version of that one. So again, this is going to be for the Countdown to Christmas class. You're going to get supplies to make all 4 of these. And then for the 5 card kit, you'll get all the supplies for this first one that I demonstrated. And actually, I take it back. For the 5 card kit, you're going to get supplies for this one and also supplies for one of the red and white ones. I just love that white so much. I decided that you needed to have 2 of this version just to play with some different avenues of that. So you're going to get 1 of each of these versions in your 5 card class kit, and then you'll get all 4 of these card supplies for your Countdown to Christmas full class. All right. So let me tell you a little bit more about the hybrid folder. So we did the embossing only, which is obvious with the folder. This is where it gets really a little bit different. You can actually take this outline stamp here and you can put it in, do I have it upside down? I do. I'm gonna figure it out. Here we go. So there is, on one of these ways, you have the die side up, the cutting side up, and you can actually put it around that embossed image on your folder. It actually kind of fits right in a groove. It's kind of, you can see I can go, kind of run my finger over it and it's not just moving all over the place. It kind of sets in place. So once you get it in place, you'll know that you have it in place. And then you can put your cardstock in there, close it up, run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, just like you would an embossing folder. The result is going to be that beautiful embossed texture with the outline cut out. So you have this beautiful piece that is perfect for layering. Isn't that awesome? So yes, the cutting part goes right inside of that folder. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of a groove. You can, after you get done cutting, you'll see that there's a little bit of a groove, but it's not really harming your folder at all. So don't worry about cutting your folder and ruining your folder. It just fits in that groove. There's only one side it can fit on, as long as you have that cutting side up. And then when you pull this up from the folder, you're going to get this beautiful, beautiful layer. So we could use that if we wanted to, but I wanted to get a little bit more detailed. So I'll show you another way that you can use this. And that is with this more detailed die from that same Merriest dies. So this time, just like the other, you're going to have face side up, and you can kind of put it right over that top, kind of fits in place. Again, you can put your cardstock layer right over it, close it up, run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is going to be just like you would a 3D embossing folder. So you're going to use plate 1, then your embossing folder and die combination, and then your specialty plate, that gray plate, or if you have the old version, it's a blue plate. When you do that, then, I don't have an example of that one. So what I found is, because of the intricacy of this die, I didn't necessarily love the way that it didn't give me a lot of detail with the texture like this. This has so much detail from the embossing folder, but because it's so intricate, it didn't really get into the grooves of all of the die and give me that same kind of a texture. So what I did, you can use it that way, and it'll give you a little bit of texture, but not to my liking. So what I did was, I just cut out a regular die using this, a regular die cut using this same die. Just ran that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine by itself. Then I took this same piece and lined it up in the embossing folder, and then ran that through separately. When I did that, then I could get that detailed embossed look. So, and also the detailed cutting. So you can see here that has a lot of the detail in it, as well as all of the different pieces cut out. Even the little inside pieces are cut out. So that is the way that I found was the best way to get all of the detail that I really wanted, as well as the awesome die cutting. So that is what we're going to use for this card, our final card. And we'll start with Blushing Bride. I was trying to think of the different colors of poinsettia flowers, and I know that sometimes they're pink, so we're using Blushing Bride. I also have a piece of Petal Pink. This is 5.5 by 1.5. And this is just going to go right across the center of our card. Just a little bit of a different color there. And then before we put this beautiful piece down, our die cut piece, we're going to stamp a sentiment on that. And it's going to be the thinking of you this festive season in Blushing Bride. And then we'll add that to our card base, our card front. Isn't that beautiful? That die cut is amazing. Gorgeous. All right, let's accent that. I have some pieces already stamped. I have some poinsettias in Blushing Bride, and then some mint macaron holly leaves. So let's add some of those. And again, you can get as crazy as you want. You can use whatever leaves you like. And then I'm just going to tack these two together. The other ones I did not layer the flower, but you could put several layers together and it would be really pretty. So I'll just layer that. And then add that with some more snail, listen to me, that's the old. Some more seal. And we'll add that right to the holly leaves. We're going to accent that with some champagne rhinestones. We'll put one here, and then maybe a couple up by the sentiment as well, just for a little bit of sparkle. Again, it comes together so easy if you have that bundle and you can do your die cutting really quickly. It's going to come together really quickly. So this is the last of the 5 cards that you'll make with your 5-card live class kit. And we've already shown all of the different pieces for our countdown to Christmas, but I do have a Too Cool version that I did, again with white. I just really love the winter white, and I put that Petal Pink strip across the bottom. This time I used Petal Pink and Blushing Bride for the flower, and just move the accent up to the top. So a couple of different ways that you can do that kind of a card as well. So let's bring all of our cards out again, and we'll show you, first of all, let's show you all the 5-card kit. So you'll have all the parts and pieces that you need to make all 5 of the cards that I showed. And just as a word of caution, everything that's stamped and then die cut, I'm just going to give you scrap paper for, because it's super difficult to just stamp on a die cut that's already die cut. So just know that for any of these accents, I'm going to give you the scrap paper. You'll stamp on the scrap paper like I did, and then you'll either need to fussy cut or use those awesome dies. So that's why I really recommend this bundle. It's gonna save you a lot of time, and it's gonna make it really easy. And you can do whatever kind of layering, whatever kind of leaves, whatever configuration of flowers that you want, and really get creative with it. So you'll get all the parts and pieces. You'll get, I will have this piece die cut because it's easy to stamp on after the fact. Again, with this label as well. Any of the embossing, that's going to also be done for you. You'll get all the accent pieces, and that will come when you place your minimum $35 order with me at toocoolstamping.com. Don't forget to shop there, click on the Shop Now link, and use that host code. Very important to use the host code so I know which kit that you're interested in. And one other thing, if you have at least $150 in order, you don't want to use the host code simply because you'll start to earn your own Stampin Rewards at the $150 level. So don't put the host code in for that. That way you can claim your Stampin Rewards for yourself. You'll get 10% back in Stampin Reward dollars to spend on that order. And I will know to automatically send you a card kit for this week. All right, so that's our 5-card kit, and then I also have the Countdown to Christmas class. So for that, you're going to get all of these pieces. They don't all fit in the picture very well, but you're going to get all of the parts and pieces for 12 cards. You're going to have 4 of each of the 3 card designs that I shared with you, and you'll have all of the parts and pieces just like you would for the 5-card kit, only this is for 12. Again, I'm just going to give you the scrap pieces of paper for the die cutting so that you can do whatever you want and either fussy cut or die cut. Also though, included in this stamp or in this class is the stamp set. You're also going to get a half a spool of this really pretty cherry cobbler and gold shimmer ribbon. So you're going to get that. And then you're also going to get a full pack of the wonderful gems. So that's what's going to come in here. I do like to put the disclaimer on there, if something happens to go on back order, I reserve the right to switch out the embellishments, but I'll make it an equal value. And there'll be definitely something that we've already used here. So you're going to get all of those things in your kit, 12 card supplies, stamp set, the gems, and a half of a spool of the cherry and gold ribbon. Plus, you'll get envelopes and a printable tutorial to help you put it all together. And that will be available for $51. And that's available until October 12th. So I'll have the registration links up at toocoolstamping.com. Later today, I'll also have them in the description. Right after this video, I'll put the link to that kit so you can go into the description of the video and go to the registration for that. But all the complete details will be on my blog later today at toocoolstamping.com. So again, that registration will be open until the 12th. That kit will mail out on the 19th. I don't think I told you for the 5-card live class kit, that always closes on the Wednesday of the next week. So Wednesday is going to be the 6th of October. So you have until the 6th to earn that 5-card class kit. All right, if you are confused about any of this, I will have all the details not only in the description of the video in just a little bit, but also on my Too Cool Stamping blog later today. So you can see all of that later on. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I hope that you've enjoyed the Merriest Moments Bundle, and especially that new hybrid style embossing folder with the dies. So awesome. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, the Countdown to Christmas class kit comes with a stamp set, but if you want the hybrid folder and dies, you can also select that as an option. Just for a little bit more price, you'll get that add-on bundle. So again, that'll all be available at toocoolstamping.com. You can find all of the details there. All right, everybody, thanks again for joining me. I will see you again next week for another live class. Until then, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. Thanks. Bye-bye.